Pineapples are native to Brazil and had been cultivated by indigenous people long before the arrival in 1492 of the famed explorer Christopher Columbus. He discovered America, showed that the world wasn't flat, and more importantly, brought the pineapple to the world's table. But now, back to the pressing story, celebrating the life of this fruit. And to help us along the way is pineapple grower Gavin Robinson.
Gavin, is there a specific time of year that's best for growing pineapples?
Pineapples are grown all year round. In this particular region, we harvest most of our fruit from February through to about December. And then for the January period, we'll harvest fruit on our farms further north, which could range from Mackay as far up as Townsville.
So when it's actually time to plant the crops, what's used?
Well, we actually, I'll just go on here, we take we remove the crown of the fruit like this, just break it off the pineapple, and then that is actually put in the ground, and that's what we use to then produce the pineapple plant. It can take up to 2 years from when we plant that top to when we harvest the next fruit.
Beautiful.
Once the plant has reached maturity, a spray is applied, which causes them to flower. It will take between 6 and 9 months to mature into the fruit we know.
So how many pineapples would you get from one of these plants?
Well, from one of these plants, as I said before, it takes approximately 2 years to grow from when you plant that top to when you'll harvest the fruit. So that'll be one fruit we get off that original top. After that fruit's harvested, the plant will throw a sucker. Now I've got a picture of a sucker, or just a sucker down here. You'll see this little plant coming off the base of the mother plant, the big one.
Yep.
Now, off a pineapple plant, you might get 1 to 2 suckers coming off it. Now they'll grow up to sort of this high, and then in about 18 months' time, they'll then throw a fruit. So roughly from one crown that you plant, you probably get between 2 to 3 pineapples in its life cycle.
So you might have already guessed that you need a little patience when growing pineapples. Out of one plant, you will only grow 2 fruits in 4 years.
Okay, pineapples are ready for harvest. Now what?
Yeah, well, once they're ready for harvest, we'll have our pickers will come in, and all the pineapples are picked by hand. It's very hard to do it mechanically because of obviously the nature of the crop. So the pickers will come in, they'll look for a pineapple that's ripe, and just like the one that you've got is showing a little bit of an orange colour. So they'll then, once they see that, they'll pick that, they'll put it on a conveyor where it goes along the conveyor and then puts into a field bin ready to be taken away for further processing.
Which brings us here to the pineapple packing shed. And it's getting pretty hard looking at all this yummy fruit without eating some of it. Okay, so the pineapples have arrived. So what's the next step?
Well, after they're coming from the field, they're placed into this cold room where overnight their temperature, internal temperature is reduced down from probably sometimes up to 30 degrees down to 12 degrees. That generally happens overnight, so we'll fill the cold room up, lock the doors, fill them down overnight and get them ready to be packed tomorrow.
Once the fruit has been through its chilly night, they're dumped into a large water bin.
Now the water's also got iodine in it. Why is that?
Well, the water's got iodine in it to help. It works as a fungicide, which helps to remove any sort of bacteria or fungi that could be on the fruit, which may break it down after it's been packed and sent into market. So obviously it adds to its shelf life by doing it. So that also, you notice the water's a little bit brown looking. That's the iodine in the water.
Okay. Now I hear that computer technology plays a pretty vital role in pineapple producing. So how does it work here?
Well, we use computers in our grading. Basically, once all the fruit's been dumped into the water dump, it then runs along a conveyor to our computer grader. Now that computer grader actually determines the colour of the fruit, the size of the fruit. It also tells us what's good or bad. Any bad fruit it'll send right through to a waste bin, which is sent away for juicing, and all the good fruit then gets put into trays to be packed and sold and sent to market.
From there, the fruit is put into boxes, onto pallets, and sent to supermarkets all over the country. All right, I think I've had enough of this. I'm going to go have myself some pineapple, and you can have